For the research notes assignment for English 104, you're going to open the document, and this is an interactive document. It just means it's a Microsoft Office Word document. And what you're going to be doing is you're going to take notes on at least 2 outside sources. So for this assignment, I just want to emphasize that you may not use this on any sources you have already submitted things for. So if you remember, in the prior 2 modules, you were looking at internet sources and you had to give information about them and, you know, establish credibility and those kinds of things. And then you also had to do that for 2 sources in the databases. So those 4 items that you've already submitted, you may not reuse for this research notes assignment. I want you to go seek out 2 additional sources. Now, I don't care what sources they are. They can be from the databases. They can be from the internet as long as they are credible. It can also be other items like a book or an interview. The big thing is you want to make sure you are choosing sources that are going to be useful to you, and these notes you're going to be using within your drafting that's coming up very quickly. So you want to do a really good job on this and make sure that you find items that are going to be relevant and useful to you in writing your essay. So you go through this worksheet just like you did the others, and the fact that you're telling me information about the source, for example, the type and location. In other words, is it a database? Where did you find it within the database, i.e. ProQuest, ProQuest Humanities, those kind of be very, very specific. The date you found it, search terms, the type of source, click on which one it is. Is it a database? Is it a newspaper article? This is all just very basic things, so I know, okay, what type of source? Was it an interview? Was it a database? Was it a web page? Was it a DVD? What exactly is the type of source you're using? And then you give me details about that source, obviously the author, whoever wrote it or created it, title of it, date of publication, where it was published. A little hint here, if you find something in the databases, that's not usually where it's published. Sometimes in the database, they publish their own work, but the vast majority of them are pulled from other sources. So you will need to kind of do a little deep reading there to find the original place of publication. And then the URL or DOI. DOI, of course, is digital object image. Either one is acceptable for them. If you cannot find the DOI, that means one does not exist, but they are usually embedded within the source. URL, if it's on the internet, that kind of thing is fine. And then make sure you tell me, is it scholarly or popular? And then here is really the nitty-gritty that you want to spend time on. What are the author's main points and claims? And do this in your own words. In other words, what is the author claiming? As a reader, basically, what are you getting out of this article? You don't have to go really deep, but you should probably have close to a paragraph there. And then this next one is how or where you might use the info. This is what I want you to be talking about, where you see this working in your essay. So you found this item worthy enough, credible enough that you're going to use it somehow in your essay. So tell me how you're going to use it. Are you going to use it to address counter argument? Are you going to use it to establish background? Are you going to use it to support one of your points that or examples that you're making that follows up with your thesis? So this is probably just 1 or 2 sentences here. And then important quotations with page numbers if available. If there's no page number, obviously you don't have to list that. But you definitely want to list whatever quotes you think you're going to be pulling from there, whether it be statistics, if it's simply wording. But I want that quote exactly, and make sure you use quotation marks, okay, with the information. And then you're going to do the same thing for a second source. So these notes, if you do a really good job, you are going to be using them within your drafting. So make sure you do a good job of not just randomly looking at sourcing in articles or databases, that you are truly getting a source for taking notes and being able to use those notes in future with your drafting, which is coming up very, very shortly.